Hey, what's up guys, this is Anti-VFX, and in this video we are going to discuss about the Premiere and Photoshop workflow. We all know that Premiere is designed to create and edit videos, but for quality videos we need to add graphic elements. We can get the full power of Adobe Photoshop to Premiere, so let's see how to do that. There are two methods that you can import Photoshop files to Premiere. The number one method is you can create Photoshop files within Adobe Premiere. If you go to the files menu and you can see new and you can see Photoshop file, click here and it will give this new Photoshop file dialog box. You can select the resolution based on your sequence. This is the default value comes to you. If you want to keep this width and height, you can keep that. And if you want to change that, you can change it. Also keep the time frame rate based on your sequence frame rate and the square pixel aspect ratio. If you want to change the pixel aspect ratio, you can change it here. Click OK and it will ask you to save the location to this Photoshop file. And this is my pro tip. When you starting a new editing project, you must create this kind of folder structure on your computer. Actually, I have created a template folder that contain all these empty folders, right? So when I'm going to start a new editing project for a new client, I just copy this folders to a new folder and I have all the structures and I put all the source footage for that project here and the necessary images and Photoshop files and the music files. That way I can easily organize my assets before I start the editing. This is a pretty helpful tip that you can use. And also it is very organized and you can easily find anything in 5 years later too. Right, in here you can see PSD files folder. I select that folder and you can type the name, let's say Create PSD in Premiere, right? So I gave the name and click save and it will open the Photoshop like this, right? So now we get this empty Photoshop file and you can see the transparent pixel, and if you take a look at the resolution of this image, it is the same as our sequence resolution. Now we can create whatever we want. Let's say we want to create a simple lower third like this, right? So just a quick demo, and now we have created, and let's type some text here. Let's say your text. I type the text like this and I put it like this. Now let's say I have finished my Photoshop graphic. Now I click file and save and I minimize the Photoshop and go back to the Premiere. And you can see in my project panel the Photoshop file that we created earlier, right? Create PSD in Premiere. Now I can simply drag and drop this to the timeline like this. And now you can see that Photoshop file is working, right? So now if you want to animate this graphic, you can do that, stuff like that. Now the cool thing is this Photoshop and Premiere working dynamic linking method. That means, let's say we want to change the background color to something else. Now you can go back to the Photoshop again and you can go to the layer and let's say we want to change this to something different color. So I go to the layer style and maybe color overlay, something like that, crazy, and click OK. Now before you exit, you have to save the file like this, and then when you go back to the Premiere and just wait a few seconds, click on here and all right, here we go. Now we have the update. Sometimes it doesn't get quickly, so just you have to move this current time indicator. So normally it is very fast. You can easily change that. Let's say if we go back to the Photoshop again and let's change the name here like right, so and click file save, and when you go back to the Premiere and you can see it is quickly changing the changes that we applied inside the Photoshop. So that is the number one method, right? So creating Photoshop files inside Adobe Premiere. So the next method is you can import Photoshop files directly to Premiere. I'm going to delete this file and click yes. And if you go to this my Photoshop files folder, you can see this import PSD to Premiere graphic that I created earlier inside the Photoshop. So I close this and I open that graphic, import PSD to Premiere, right? So this is a basic graphic that I wanted to show you the basic concepts when you import Photoshop files to Premiere. So we have a background layer and the rectangle layer here, and this is a simple title like this. Now I'm going to import this file to Premiere directly. So I can go to File, Import, but the most easy method is double click on the project panel. It will open the import dialog box and select the Photoshop file and click open. And when you do that, you will get this import layered file dialog box, right, like this. In here you have few options, so I'll explain each option one by one. The first option is merged all layers. That means if you take a look at the Photoshop file, this file has 3 layers. Now if you select this merged all layers, it will flatten this image into single image. If you click OK, and you can see that it gives us a simple image file, and if you drop this to the timeline, you can get this single image file, single graphic file. So that is the merge all layers option. I'm going to delete this. Now I'm going to import that file again, and this time I select the merge layers. When you select this option, you have option to choose which layers do you want to merge. In this case, I'll exclude the background and I'm going to merge the rectangle and the title. I click OK, and you will get this time also you will get a single file, and if you drop this to the timeline, you can see that title and the rectangle is merged, but we cannot see the the background. Now I delete this, so I click yes and then go to the third option, import and Premiere, and this time I select the individual layers, right? So when you select this option, you can import whether this text layer or the rectangle layer or the background layer. You can use these checkboxes to select which layer do you want to import. And here if you take a look at the bottom section, you can see footage dimension. This is important. Do you want to this means you have two options, the document size and the layer size. So document size is if you select this option, it will import this text layer like this, right, like this. So the final image size will be 1920 by 1080, right? That is the Photoshop document size. But if you select the layer size, it will only the footage dimension will be the dimension of the layer. This option is helpful when you select the anchor point. If you select the document size, I'm going to show this to you anyway, right? Click OK, and this time I select the document size. And now if you go to the effects panel and if you select the motion, and you can see our anchor point is on the center of the video, not the center of the this layer, right? So in this case, if you rotate this, you can see it is rotating from the center, right? So I'm going to delete this and I'm going to re-import that using the other method. That means individual layer, I select the rectangle. In this time I select the layer size, right? So when you select the layer size, it will import the graphic as same as previously, but this time the anchor point of this graphic is at the center of the graphic, right? So when you select this, you can see anchor point is here. Now when you rotate this item, you can see it is rotating from the center of the rectangle. So that is the technique that you want to remember. Based on your requirement, you have to select which method. That's why I explained to you every single method. So now we have the few other options. Let's go back to the next option. In here we can select individual layer. We discussed about that. The last option is sequence. You can import this layered Photoshop file as Adobe Premiere sequence. This sequence contains all the layers in each individual video track. When you select this sequence option, you can select document size, that will be the sequence size, and click OK. And when you do that, you can see it created a new folder in our Premiere, and you can see that is the same as the Photoshop file. And you expand this folder, you can see all the individual layers, right? So this is the background layer, and this is the text layer, and this is the title. Like this, you can see each individual layer, and also you can get this new sequence created by Premiere. And when you double click on this, you will get this layered sequence, and you can see the visibility of these layers like this. This method is useful if you want to individually animate this composition based on your requirements. So you can see these are the methods that we can use to import Photoshop files into Premiere. So I hope these methods will be useful to you, because when you are working on a professional project, definitely you need to get the help from Adobe Photoshop. Otherwise, you have to spend a lot of time to doing certain things inside Photoshop. So I hope you get the complete idea about how to import Photoshop files into Premiere. So I'll see you guys next time.
Sometimes when